everyone, I'm Sasha from Women's Fight News, sponsored by Champions Memorabilia, and I'm joined by former world champion Hannah Rankin. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, nice to chat to you on a Sunday. Sorry, it's a Sunday.
No, perfect day. If it's Sunday's a rest day, this is the best thing I could be doing on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And there was obviously a lot of fights last night. Did you stay up and watch any of them?
Watched all of them.
Yeah, same. Feeling a bit tired today.
It's such an epic lineup of fights. Like that Liverpool card, honestly,
Yes.
one of the best cards I've seen in a long time. Kudos to Eddie for that one. Definitely.
Yeah, 100. Like I got to be there. I was so excited, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get there 4 p.m. So I was there like 4 till midnight, and I was like, but worth it. But typically, you normally like rock up about 7 o'clock, don't you? But there was no fight you could miss last night.
None of them. And like even the before the bell part was just brilliant too. Really.
Yeah, every single fight. So you set the bar quite high now, because that's what I want every single show I go to.
Yep, absolutely.
Did you stay up and watch Fury Wilder?
Yeah, so I didn't stay up. I had a sleep and then I got up again for it. So what a fight. What an absolutely mental fight. Like just, but you know what, the heavyweight division needed that. Like it needed something kind of explosive with knockdowns and left, right, center. We needed that.
Yeah, 100%. I think my neighbors hate me because like every time there was a knockdown, I was like getting up and screaming, and I just couldn't believe what was happening.
Anybody that has to watch fights, like some of the best fights are on a ridiculous o'clock, and I must admit there's times when I'm like, I'm gonna get up, and then I'm absolutely knackered from training. I'm like, nah, I'm out. I'll watch it in the morning first thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was obviously great last night, but coming up are more great fights, including obviously yourself. You're fighting in, I think it's just under 4 weeks, aren't you?
Yeah, it was 4 weeks on that Friday just there.
How excited are you to get back in the ring? Because it's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been the beginning of the year since you last out.
Yeah, to be honest, that's actually weird for me because like I'm normally a very active fighter. So like the whole pandemic kind of slowed all that down. But I was in South Africa in March. I had a really good win out there. And then of course I was meant to fight in July, but I ended up doing the Hannah Bagley exhibition fight to help out. And this opportunity had come up, so I was like, yeah, we'll wait for this one. It's totally worth waiting for. So yeah, no, it's I'm just buzzing to get in there, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously you're fighting for two titles. What weight are you fighting at this time round?
So this one's at Super Welterweight. As you know, in March I went down to welterweight for that fight in South Africa, and I was planning on staying there. But the opportunity came up at the weight, and the belt became vacant for the WBA, and I was like, I'm having it. Like, I'm absolutely taking that opportunity. And Dennis Hobson, who I'm working with FightZone, was like, yeah, we'd love you to headline a show to fight for that title. Would you be up for it? And I was like, hell yeah, absolutely, 100%. So yeah, and now the best part is that IBO has been added to it as well. So there's 2 titles on the line. So 2 times 2 titles. Absolutely buzzing about it.
Yeah, I mean, how exciting, what an experience as well to headline, and what a show it's going to be as well. What's that going to mean to you?
I mean, so when I won the IBO the first time in Scotland, I headlined the show on the BBC, and it was in front of my family and my friends, my home city. Like, it couldn't have been a better scenario, right? But London's my second home. I've been here for nearly 11 years now. So for me to win my second world title session, like for me to do that in my second home is like perfect. I couldn't be happier about it. And the fact that people can watch it on FightZone all around the world, that's great, because my sister's in New Zealand, so she can watch it, which is exciting. And the fact that we can have fans there for this one, which is also going to be good. This is my first one since prior to the pandemic where I've actually got people in the audience.
God, which will make such a difference as well, because how tough was it fighting behind closed doors? Because you know, I know everyone says, you know, when you're in the ring you shut everyone off, but it is still different.
Well, I mean, for me it wasn't so weird, because obviously as a musician I've performed like in front of just my mom and dad, and then I performed like in front of massive crowds. So, you know, like when you're little, you're just like your mom and dad are there like, oh yeah, it's great. It kind of felt like that. It was like, oh great, it's got Eddie Hearn here, just like, you know. But yeah, no, it, like for me it wasn't so much, because I was super like focused, and obviously being the world title being on the line, and yeah, it was a big fight, so I actually didn't miss it as much. But to be able to have fans cheering your name and pushing you on, it does give you that little extra bit. And obviously for a world title fight you always want that, so I'm just very excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. If we quickly go back to that fight behind closed doors, it was obviously against Savannah Marshall.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you didn't get the win, but I think every single person who watched it credited your heart. And I was like, God, that's without a crowd. So like you've just said, when you've got people screaming your name, you'll push even more. But I mean, you obviously moved up in weight. Is that something you look at and think, I probably wouldn't do that again?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that fight decided it for me. You know, I'm not really a middleweight. I'm a super welterweight is where I won my world title, so I'm very good at that weight. Obviously, I can make welterweight, and I like being at welterweight too. So as far as I can go down from after that fight, I went down 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows you I didn't really belong in the middleweight division. But you know me, I love a fight, so I wasn't going to turn down an opportunity to get in there and give it everything and have the chance to fight for a WBO middleweight world title. So it was a fantastic night. Obviously didn't get the win, didn't go my way, but we still won dramatic fight of the year from the WBC for that fight, as because it was exciting and everybody wanted to see what was going to happen. So, you know, I was just a bit too small, and that was it. And whereas Savannah's massive for the weight, so you know, like when you stood in there, you could just see the difference in the ring. But yeah, no, I learned a lot from the fight, took lots of things away from it. But yeah, very happy to be fighting at my more natural weight.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone could see, like, I mean, you put in such a good performance. She's one of the world's best, and you've held your own in, like, in a way, the wrong weight. So it really shows like where you're at. And obviously now you're going to be fighting for a world title in the weight you're comfortable at. Your opponent's Maria Lindberg. So what are you, because she's very experienced, she's a very good fighter. What are you expecting from her?
So I'm expecting her to bring it. She never ever gets in and takes any opportunity by halves. She gets in there and gives it her best. I mean, to take the Savannah fight on a day's notice, she's got balls, you know, if you're going to put it that way. But I'm not underestimating her at all. She's very experienced, been in with a lot of great fighters. Been unlucky a couple of times in some decisions, in my opinion. So I know the best Maria Lindberg is going to turn up on the night, and we're going to put on a total show for the fans. But I believe truly that I'm going to come away as the WBA and the IBO world champion. So yeah, it's going to be a great night for everybody to watch, but ultimately I'm going to become world champion. Yeah,
100%. Like you say, she is a great boxer. It's going to make such a great fight. But I mean, we'll all be rooting for you, of course. And I definitely see you winning both of them belts. And I know you're not going to look past this fight, but do you have plans? You're thinking, right, I'm going to get these world titles. What would be next for you?
To be honest, I haven't looked past the 5th of November. Or my whole focus and energy is on that day. It's got some special meaning for me. I've always loved fireworks night. So for the chance to win my next 2 world titles on that night is a very special thing for me. So no, I haven't looked past that. Obviously, once you have a goal, you've got to set a bigger goal and a bigger one. I would love to unify a division. I would also love to become a 2-weight world champion. So there's potential and opportunities there. But first of all, I've got to win these 2 titles on the 5th of November, and then I'll be looking onwards to other things.
Yes, definitely. And that's obviously the right outlook to have. And until you said it, I did not realize it was Bonfire Night that night. So that's even more, because I'm going to be at the show. I'm going to watch. I can't wait to be there and watch you live.
Well, and there's been like so many opportunities to put in the corner, like there will be fireworks. Remember the 5th of November. You know, it's like it lends itself perfectly. But I'm trying to do the cheesy ones.
Yeah, definitely. But that's even more exciting now. Obviously, it's going to be on FightZone. I love the whole concept of FightZone personally. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and it's something I think boxing really, really needed. How important do you feel it has been for boxing?
To be honest, FightZone and with Dennis Hobson has been one of the best, most refreshing new ideas, and one of the greatest things to come out of the pandemic, in my opinion, because the most important thing to come out of the pandemic was the fact that people suddenly realized that they loved women's boxing and they wanted to watch it. That was the best thing to come out of the pandemic. The second best thing is FightZone and Dennis Hobson. It gives a real platform to all the fighters, whatever level you're at. And I think that really helps young fighters coming through build a fan base. And that's so important, because we all know like the hell of selling tickets when you're first starting out. And the fact that people have never really seen you fight before, you've got to convince them that they want to buy a ticket to come along. Whereas if they've seen them on FightZone, they might then buy a ticket the next time and come to the show that is themselves. So I think it's really important, and it's a great move forward for fighters starting out in their career. And also, like, some of the best fights are often like Southern area title fights, like the small ones. Honestly, some of my favorite fights ever have been Southern area title fights, but they're not on TV. And this is where fight zones come in, and it's actually giving people a chance to go and see, like, to sit at home and watch some really epic fights. So yeah, no, very happy. Obviously from a personal position, like, I'm just signed with Dennis, so obviously my very first fight with him, he's managing to put 2 world titles on the line for me and headline a show at Tottenham Stadium. So I couldn't love the guy more, to be perfectly it's like the perfect start of a great partnership. So yeah, no, massive thank you to them.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, that's the best way to start a new partnership and a new deal, because sometimes you do hear horrendous stories with some boxers where they sign to promotion companies, managements, and they promise the world and nothing comes about it. But straight away, I mean, he's done well for you there.
I mean, put your money where your mouth is, sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm very, very pleased about that. And that's what happened when, you know, I was thinking I was going to stay at welterweight. And when this opportunity came up, Dennis was like, we'd love you to headline the show, fighting for a world title, become our, like, FightZone's first world champion, which is something pretty special. And I just feel very sort of honored and blessed that he wanted to ask me to do that, and he's trust me and my team to put on a great performance. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of things riding on the 5th of November, but I'm going to be excited to showcase what I can do.
Yeah, definitely. You've obviously got the experience anyway, where you can handle that pressure. And something I always say, I speak to Rack a lot, who obviously I know you know quite well, and we always just say every time we bring you up is that you are a fighter who will take any fight and fight anywhere. And it's nice that you now get that, what you deserve, I think, to be able to fight in London, to be able to fight for a world title. So when you've had them tough fights or had to travel abroad, does it all become worth it for nights that are coming up?
Absolutely. Like, for me, I've had as a professional sports person, travel is a massively exciting part of that. And I'm really lucky to have boxed in some of the most awesome random places. Like, really, I mean, I never would have said I was gonna have ever fought in Kansas, but I fought in Kansas when I fought Claressa, so you know, that was mad. So yeah, no, I'm very lucky that I've had the chance to experience that, but it feels about now is my time to get the perks of being at home, you know, and my family be able to, like, literally just get the train and come, you know, instead of having to maybe take a flight or try and find some stream or something, you know. So I think that it's great, and I feel finally, it's about my time for that. This is my time to get that those advantages and the fun of having that. So yeah, I'm really pleased.
Yeah, definitely. I think family being there can make a difference as well. Of course, it makes such a difference. But like you say, it is great experience. I mean, flying out and fighting Claressa Shields in America, like, what an experience.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you know, pound for pound best, and again, held your own, which is just unbelievable. That again shows the level that you're at.
I wouldn't change any of my career. Like, even situations which I wasn't, like, I didn't get the win in, or I didn't turn out the way I wanted to, I wouldn't change anything, because I've had to learn, I suppose you say, at the coalface, but I've learned really quickly from that, and I've learned what it's like to be a world champion. And, like, me and Claressa are very good friends now, so you know what, like, being around people like that can only inspire you. So you know, it just helped set me up for getting to where I am now, and it's all going to culminate on the 5th of November. So yeah, that's kind of really special to me, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, being around people like Claressa, obviously I've seen that you know, she came, I think, did you have a fight and she come here and she was your sparring partner and things? I mean, pretty decent sparring partner to get you ready for a fight, isn't it?
She, you know, it's always a good spar being Claressa, because, like, everyone's like, oh, your mates, you know, do you take it easy? Absolutely not. When you're doing that, it's like, you know, you get in there to have a good sparring session. So obviously I love to spar with Claressa. Same thing with, like, Sandy and Chantel and stuff like that. It's a good spar, and you both look forward to it, because you're trying to take lumps out of each other, but it's great. You know, it's really good.
Yeah, because I've seen, obviously, I think it was last week or the other week, you sparred Chantel Cameron. I know you've been with Sandy. What do you think of Sandy Ryan? Because obviously she's 2-0 now, and she was so dominant in her last performance.
So, like, I've known Sandy for ages. We've sparred hundreds of rounds together, and I was so excited when she was finally going to turn over, because it'd been a long time coming, and I was just like, your style is suited to the pros. you know, and her body work is brilliant. And as she showed in her last fight, that was a lovely, beautiful double left hook to the body.
Yeah.
And she timed it perfect, you know, and she got the stoppage that she wanted. So, you know, I'm excited to see where she goes. She's entering quite an interesting division. There's some great matchups later on. So yeah, no, I'm really, really happy for her. And like her career couldn't have started better, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you say, she shows that she is more of a pro than an amateur. She's settled so quickly. And yeah, she's been very dominant, and I definitely look forward to seeing her journey. I do have to quickly ask also, obviously you fought Claressa Shields, like you mentioned, Savannah Marshall.
Yeah.
They both signed with Boxer. So that super fight might happen sooner, hopefully sooner rather than later. Yeah. Who do you think would win that fight?
So for me, obviously, Carissa's a really good friend, and I'm backing her all the way to get that win. I personally think she's going to take the win on that fight, and I'm not going to say how or why, but I personally feel that she's going to win that fight. But I think it's going to be a very exciting fight for women's boxing, because it's two, you know how they say styles make fights. Yes. So it's two completely different styles of fighters. And obviously Savannah's changed a lot since they were in the amateurs when Claressa beat her. When she beat Claressa, yeah, there's the whole styles and everything's changed. And I don't think we can really take anything from the amateur days, to be perfectly honest, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously Claressa massively experienced now as a pro, multiple weight world champion, done it all, and now obviously doing MMA because she's just like, well, you know, why not? So, she's not bothered. But the fact that they both signed with Boxer means that I think the fight's got a good chance of actually coming off, which is what women's boxing, we need super fights. You know, the guys have got the heavyweights, we'll have the middleweights. That's the exciting middle, you know, the big fights there. So
yes, 100%. Like I say, hopefully that can happen. With Boxer, obviously that's another promotional company in the mix on top of Matchroom, and then you've got the likes of still obviously Frank Warren, you've got FightZone now, Unified Promotions is coming up. All of these, as good as it is for boxing, because clearly it's given people or more opportunities to people, do you see where there could be any problems with having multiple promotional companies?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, it's what you like, isn't it, in a fight? With a FightZone, with Dennis Hobson FightZone, it's $4.99, so it's like, it's a fiver, right? It's less than 2 pints to get to watch like the boxing, and there's something on pretty much every weekend. Yeah. So for that much money a month, a fiver a month, I mean, it's really nothing. So you don't really resent paying that, but then when you have to pay for Sky Sports, and then you're paying for DAZN still, I don't know why people complained about the cost change, because like, let's be honest, it's still not that big a change. You had like nothing before. Yeah,
it's the same price of Netflix, and I know what I'd preferred much rather DAZN over Netflix. So
I mean, all of the DAZN videos and stuff that lead up to fights, I freaking love them. They're so good. And when I filmed actually for the Claressa fight, that was with DAZN. And like, it was madness, a whole other world, like filming and setting things up and doing things like stuff you'd never even thought about. But I've done one of those like shoots and filming sessions, and it's just like, when you're watching the videos yourself, it's just like, it's so cool. Just like, you have a really lovely different look at things, and different angles from where the fighters come from, and that sort of thing. So it's done really well. Yeah, but I'm just not sure that everyone's going to want to pay. This is the downside. There's so many things to pay for, and it all starts to add up eventually. And I think they're going to have to show something very different, like with the Sky Sports, well, with Boxer, it's going to have to be a kind of like a really different type of show to what Matchroom puts on, to what Fran puts on, to make people want to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that was the comments after the first Boxer show. I was there, so I didn't see it on TV. But when I was obviously scrolling through Twitter, and everyone's right on Twitter, of course, you know, everyone's an expert. But there was a lot of negativity about it. And I think that is going to be the problem. It has to be different, because like you say, otherwise everyone's paying out a lot of money and they're like, well, I'm not getting my money's worth. So there's quite a bit of pressure now. It's a bit of pressure on the fighters, actually, that have gone with it, because Matchroom and DAZN is very established now. Like, Matchroom's been established for a long time, and when they went with DAZN, it was a shake-up that was needed. It definitely was needed. Like, things need to have a little change around. I don't think it's changed enough with Boxer with Sky Sports, I don't think the setup's changed. There was less time between fights, which I quite liked.
I like that. Yeah.
So that was good. But yeah, I'm not so sure. And then the last minute fallout for Eubank with the whole medical thing was just bizarre. Because I would have watched. Wanted to watch it for that fight. That was the fight I was really, really interested in. So, but then of course that never happened.
Yeah.
But, what was the girl that made her debut? She was great.
Ebonie Jones was brilliant.
She was the best. That was the best on the card.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was the only fight I went to watch. But I know a lot of people on Twitter are like, oh, Chris Eubank's not fighting, and I don't, I want my money back. But Ebonie Jones was awesome, and I'm so glad, because there was pressure, because people were criticising the fighters on the card, and then when it's your debut, I think, God, you really do have to step up and show you belong there. So there was quite a bit of pressure on her, I thought.
Yeah, no. So what I can think is probably the only thing is going to be the financial side of it. Like, I think both FightZone and DAZN actually have an advantage being under a tenner.
100%, and it's easier as well. Like, the whole subscription process is easier, and that's why I like it. I think with the others, you're having to tie into like 18-month contracts. If you wanted to sign up with Sky, they're like, yeah, you can have your TV, your broadband, this and this, and it's 18 months. So obviously that causes problems.
Yeah, I just want to watch the boxing.
Yeah, that's all I ever watch. So obviously, so your show is on FightZone, which we keep saying is an unreal platform. So for anyone who hasn't got it, I do obviously suggest it. It's $4.99 a month. But can people still buy tickets to your show coming up the 5th of November?
Absolutely. So anybody wanting to come along, it's going to be inside the stadium. So we're not in the same sort of massive outdoor part that obviously AJ was filling, being a heavyweight world champion. However, we're taking the inside section, which is like a really beautiful hospitality sort of high roller section. There's meals that come with the tickets. So the cheapest ticket doesn't have anything with it, but everything above that has a 3-course meal with it. Yeah. And the ringside ones come with drinks on the tables and waitress servicing, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a really nice night, and there are limited tickets. So if you guys want them, please contact me or my coach Noel Callan, who most of you know. Just contact us, and we'll get tickets sent out to you straight away. But yeah, anybody looking for tickets, just contact me on any of my social media platforms, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, because it's definitely going to be such a good night of boxing. And I love them type of shows where there's like, the drinks and the meals, and there's just a different vibe about it. And I think like that's what boxing is to me. I know you've got the big stadiums, but that's the bit I used to love.
Well, I think for me as well, this time around, it's a really great card. And I think for like normally with the dinner show, it's not that many fights, but we've got a full fight card that's coming alongside a 3-course meal. So, it's going to be a fantastic night. There's going to be people making their debuts, like there's going to be quite a few women on the card as well. So it's quite an exciting night, and I think people are going to appreciate it as a sort of a special event. And also Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is just absolutely so cool. The inside is just really well designed, everything's clever, and for those of you that drink, the pints do come up from the bottom of the glass to the top. For everybody that cares about that, everyone tells me every time, and I'm like, I don't drink. But the stadium is beautiful, and it is a really fantastic place to be winning my world titles. I'm just so excited about it.
Yeah, it is. I was there for the AJ fight, and the whole inside is just beautiful. And like even walking in and just everything about it was just stunning. I mean, they spent a lot of money on it. I would hope it's that nice, but it is such a special place for you to win that world title. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I've been to weird venues all around the place. Like it makes me think way back to my debut. I made it in the back of some nightclub in Southend was my debut, right? And I had to walk through a kitchen to get into the ring.
Stop.
Yeah, no. And I think all the way back to that, and then some of like where I got offered a fight on a boat. That was one that came up. It never happened, but I got offered it. I've done some crazy stuff in crazy places, but now to be doing the double world title fight in a stadium like that, I'm so stoked. It's definitely miles away from the Southend nightclub.
Definitely, but you've earned it now, haven't you? You've, like you say, no one can say that about you. You've earned your way to get here, and say you've fought away, you've taken every fight, and and it's all going to be worth it come Friday, the 5th of November. So say if you want to get tickets, contact Hannah or contact Noel, and I'm going to be there, and I'm so excited to watch you fight. I've never seen you fight live, so I am so excited. I've always seen you on TV, of course, but never been there in the flesh, so I'm so excited.
It's going to be a cracker of a night. There's some fantastic people on there. Also my teammate Dee Allen, she's making her professional debut on there, so super stoked for her for that as well. So yeah, she'll be on there earlier on in the card, then she can watch my fight at the end. But yeah, it's her debut, so a special night for her as well.
Oh, that's a perfect night as well, isn't it, to make your debut? That's going to be really special. Hannah, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck in the rest of your training camp, and I look forward to seeing you fight on the 5th of November.
Thank you so much, and cheers for getting in touch, and thanks for doing this on a Sunday.